My boyfriend, 26M, just proposed, but I, 25F, was unfaithful to him at the start of our relationship, 6Y, and I feel the need to confess. Throwaway, obviously. Alan and I have been dating for 6 years. We both just completed our master's program in our respective degree fields, and after our graduation party, Alan drove me out to the spot where he had first asked me to go out with him. We live in the same town because we both pursued our undergrad degrees at the same college we did our masters in. He gets me out of the truck, gets down on one knee, and asks me to marry him. While he's asking me, he's talking about how I'm different from any woman he's ever met. I'm solid, I'm his best friend, I'm faithful. And suddenly my heart goes from bursting because I'm so happy to wanting to be sick. Because the thing I've never told Alan is, towards the beginning of our relationship, I had a one-time fling with an ex. My ex and I had been together for 8 months, before I'd even met Alan. When I broke up with him, because he was batshit insane, stalkery, and I found out he was on about 6 different kinds of medication and had crashed my car on purpose because he was angry with me, he got suicidal, and because I was the only one he would talk to, his family enlisted my begrudging help. I told Alan what I was up to and he supported me. I would support my ex via text while making it clear nothing was going to happen. Then Alan and I got in a stupid fight over something silly, like whether we were going to a party together or something, I don't remember. Anyways, me, being 18 and a stupid poop, I went over to my ex's house to hang out and we ended up making out. I ended things after about 30 seconds, and a few days later I told him and his family I couldn't talk to him anymore and blocked his number. I never told Alan because at the time it didn't seem worth the trouble of bringing up. After a string of failed relationships concluding with my ex, I figured that Alan and I probably wouldn't last long anyway. Horrible logic. Things with Alan were different, though. He was the most functional human being I had ever met. We fought and it wasn't the end of the world. He didn't try to emotionally manipulate me. He didn't cheat on me. He treated me better than anyone ever had. I thought about telling him several times about what happened, but it never seemed like a good time. Then, one night while we were out at dinner he told me at length how much he hated cheaters, and my decision to not tell him ever was solidified. I almost never think about it. It was a 30 seconds moment 6 years ago and I haven't seen or heard from that person since that night. I've never cheated since then. I said yes and we're making preparations for a big church wedding in 8 months. We haven't told our family and friends yet, we plan to in a couple of days. But now I'm wondering if I should fess up or if I'm right and it isn't even worth mentioning. TL, Doctor, my boyfriend of 6 years proposed to me and I said yes, but now I'm wondering if I should confess to the extremely brief affair I had the first month of our relationship. Hi guys, I promise to love you if you like, comment, and subscribe. Alan here. Made an account and looked this up on break like you asked. Babe, this is a non-issue. I've known about this pretty much since it happened, TBH. You came to class acting weird and then Don actually emailed me himself to talk about how pissed he was you'd stopped talking to him and I kinda pieced it together. Don't stress. I was a bit freaked out back then but I was proud that you immediately cut off contact. I'm kinda glad you didn't tell me though, because that was a conversation 19-year-old me was too awkward to handle, haha. Looking forward to making you a Peterson in 8 months. Smile, love you. Also, your description of how I proposed makes me sound really lame XD. No. This isn't how this sub is supposed to go. You are supposed to hate each other and break up immediately. Show him this post. Seriously, because it will come out better than if you ever try to tell him. You made out 30 seconds with an ex 6 years ago, this is not a full-blown affair. He could dump you, he could be pissed for a couple of weeks or he could even laugh about it. It's hard to know how he will react, but it's sure that the guilt will eat you up. I'm pregnant, 22F, and caught my boyfriend, 24M, of 5 years playing on Skype with a good friend of mine. I am in a terrible situation. Frown, I grew up an only child in a harmful household. Both of my parents are alcoholics and I have been no contact with them ever since I moved out when I was 18. I'd been dating my boyfriend since I was 17 and he was older and already had his own place. Due to the circumstances I moved right in with him after that. has been good to me throughout this. He was supportive when I wanted to quit my job and find another because it was too stressful. He was supportive when I went through a bad sadness a couple years back. He was supportive when I found out I was pregnant 5 months ago. But lately he had been working more and been a little secretive with finances. I thought working more was to prepare for the baby like he told me it was. Secretive with finances, I thought he was being because he was going to propose. I probably was stupid, but he never gave me a reason not to trust him in the past. As for my good friend, I actually met her on Reddit. We have been friends for 2 years. She lives in my state but hours away. I have only been able to meet her twice. To me she was beautiful and kind and everything I wished I could be. For a while she would tell me all about this new guy she was seeing. How he was so hot and cold with her and she wasn't sure if he was into her. I encouraged this relationship as I always do, being supportive. Little did I know she was talking about my boyfriend. I can't even believe I am typing this right now. She must be a sociopath. Who on earth goes for relationship advice to the person who is dating the person they are messing around with? She knows I'm pregnant with his child. I'm not even worried about me right now. How could she do this knowing he has a kid he will need to take care of? Apparently this has been going on a while before I got pregnant, because I remember giving her advice a long time before then. And how could he do this to me and our child? He must be a sociopath too. All these years I am starting to wonder if some trips he took with friends were really trips with friends. I'm starting to rethink everything. The worst part of all this was I had to witness it. We have a desktop in the basement and that is where he was on Skype with her. I came home early from work today, which happens because I'm a temp and when we run out of work we go home. So it's pretty stupid that he thought I wouldn't catch him, or maybe he just doesn't care. He has nice headphones that make it hard to hear, and when I walked down there I saw him sitting there naked playing and I saw her sitting there with her breasts exposed. I stood there in shock, and when they noticed they tried to do damage control, but I am done. I do not want to be with him after this. But I am 5 months pregnant and I have nowhere to go. I have no family and the only friends I really have are long distance. I'm introverted and really bad at making friends. So I am completely stuck and I don't know what to do. I need to not just think what is best for me but what is best for my child. This is a mess of a situation and I desperately need your advice, Reddit. TL, Doctor, I caught my boyfriend playing over Skype with a good friend of mine and I am 5 months pregnant with his child. My parents are alcoholics who I am not in contact with and all my friends are online friends. I am not sure what to do, but I don't want to be with him anymore. I want what is best for my child. I'm so sorry. You have to go through this, but this is not the situation you want to be in and raise your child in. As hard as it is, leaving seems like the very best option. It'll be hard at first, it'll hurt like hell, but it's the best for both you and baby. There are many services you can take advantage of. You might qualify for housing and WIC and food stamps. It's made for people in this situation, so take advantage of it. You will be okay, I promise. Reach out for as much help as you can. Big internet hugs. Stay strong, it's for both of you now. Have you considered putting them in a pool of hungry sharks? What the duck is wrong with this sub? Small point that I didn't see mentioned in other comments. Regardless of where you go right now, when your child is born, please make sure you list him as the father on the birth certificate, no matter how much you hate him, how shittily he behaves, and whether or not you leave him in your dust and don't speak to him again. Having his name listed as the father puts him on the hook legally for child support in the future. If you do not list him, getting child support from him means a lengthy court procedure with paternity tests and lawyers and you with no child support. He can still contest paternity if he is in butthole, but the onus is on him to prove that he is not the father at that point. Go to your local welfare office and explain the situation. Don't assume that living in the guest room is going to be a good time. Pregnant women with unstable housing go to the top of the wait list where I am and sometimes get emergency placement.